I'm going to tell you something, and it's going to sound really weird, and you might not want to hear it. Are you ready? It's the fact that you're a drug addict. You're a drug addict, and your addiction is the validation of other people. It's the judgment and the opinion of others on yourself. They all control your life, and you've almost become like this weird puppet to their desires and to their thoughts of you. And all you're doing really is just existing. And I'm speaking about this because I know how you feel. I was the puppet. You see, when I was younger, I was in the beginning years of high school, I got bullied. And I never wanted to admit it until later on, but yeah, I got bullied. And it got to a point where it was so bad that I had anxiety doing simple things like just raising my hand. I remember I would genuinely, like, almost die at the thought of speaking out loud, even more so reading out loud. In history class, we had this like popcorn reading where we would go by alphabetical order on the list and every person would have to read a paragraph or two. And the weeks following up to that, because I knew when my name was going to be called, was literally the most nerve-wracking time for me. Think about it. It literally felt like I was going to die, and it was literally just because I had to read out loud. And so when the teacher called on my name and I had to read, my voice would break. I felt like I was drowning. I felt like everybody was looking at me and laughing. It was just horrible. And then I would put my head down and I would act like I was asleep. What I would really do is be on the verge of tears. And this happened with many other things. Like, I wouldn't, as I said, raise my hand up in class. I wouldn't even look anywhere else because I felt like someone was going to make fun of me. It was very, very bad. And if you've experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. It feels like a constant weight on your shoulders. Whether you're in class, whether you're in life, whether you want to go up and talk to a pretty girl, maybe even in your career, you feel like just you are being controlled by this invisible force that you can't see, but you can obviously feel. And it is the external validation of others. So if you're experiencing this, I'm going to tell you today exactly how to stop it with 5 steps. Step number 1, acceptance. You need to accept that no matter how hard you try, or no matter how little you try, there's going to be X percentage of people that are always going to like you for who you are, and X percentage of people that no matter who you are and how hard you try, are never going to like you. This sets you free in a way. You start realizing that once you understand this, you can't tailor to everybody. It's just how it is. Name me one person that's liked by everybody. Jesus, the most perfect human in the entire history of our earth, was crucified. There was not one trace of him committing any sin, and he was still crucified. So what does that tell you about the average human? We're imperfect. And obviously, some people aren't going to like our imperfections. And that's completely fine. It's not to kind of shit on them because they're imperfect. You need to accept them and their opinions of you and accept that maybe there's a lot of people who don't like you. And that's okay. And then if you go a step further, which goes into step number 2, which is analyzing. You need to do a ruthless analyzation of your insecurities that are being triggered by other people's thoughts of you. So for example, if you go out on the street and you're very insecure because you feel powerless, you might think that people want to take advantage of you. Well, you need to analyze. Why do I feel powerless? Maybe it's because I don't feel like I can defend myself. Maybe it's because one time I was walking on the street and a guy pushed me over and I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't speak up for myself. Maybe you feel powerless in the face of speaking to another woman because when you were 13, you got rejected and the whole class laughed at you. It can be these simple things that caused you to have like this hidden little trauma where you just feel powerless in the face of a circumstance. So once you analyze this, you can truly understand the root of where this comes from. So going back to the example of the guy that pushed you over in the street, maybe he pushed you over and you felt like a bitch. Well, how would you not feel like a bitch? Probably elevating your confidence, probably getting a bit bigger if you're very scrawny, probably learning how to defend yourself, probably learning how to communicate so you can actually speak your thoughts. But most importantly, step number 3, detachment. You need to detach from any expectations or identity that you want other people to have of you. So, for example, if in your friend group or if in your community, a person with high status is a person with a lot of money, maybe a lot of women, or lots of respect because they've done a lot of things, then you need to detach from that. You need to, number one, accept yourself. Number two, analyze yourself to see where you need to improve and see where everything comes from. And number three, detach from expectations. Once you detach the importance from these things, you can actually truly improve. So for example, I was talking with my friend and he told me it's been a month since I left soccer. I stopped playing soccer because he used to be super into soccer and then he got out of it. And he's like, I played after a month of not training at all. I didn't even take it seriously. And I did like twice as good as I did when I was practicing super hard. And I said, it's because you detach from the outcome. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, when you played soccer, your whole identity was based on you being good at soccer. So every little mistake that you made took away from your identity. And then you started overthinking things, and then that translated into how you played. And you started sucking more. And then as soon as you took a month break and you just didn't care about the outcome because there was nothing to lose, you weren't playing anymore, you actually were able to have fun and started to get in a flow, and therefore you got better. And this is the same in life. Like for example, if you go up to a girl and you're overthinking of like what to say so she likes you, they're gonna smell that off of you. But if you go up to a girl and you don't care what happens because you're just there to tell her she's pretty because you like her, you're much more likely to start up a conversation with her. The same with if you want to kind of make a friend. If you go up to a guy and you want something out of him, you're like, I want him to give me money, or I want to be his friend so he can elevate me socially. He's gonna smell that off you. But if you generally are just interested in a human and you go up to them, they're also going to smell it off you and they're going to strike up a conversation. So you need to detach from the outcome and you need to detach from other people's expectations of you. For me, it was more than anything my father's expectations of me, of going to college, of having a career like his. These were expectations that my father had made very clear that he wanted me to do. And when I told him that I wasn't going to go to college, he was very disappointed and he called me a failure. And that stung because I hadn't detached from his opinion of me. I hadn't detached from the outcome. And as soon as I did, I was able to prove to myself what I could do by following my own path. And I proved myself right once I detached. And now, if you ask me what I feel about my father's disdain towards me, I don't know if he has it anymore, I'll tell you that it's okay because he's allowed to have his own opinion, but I'm allowed to have my own path. I truly detached from this, which leads into step number 5. This whole video has served absolutely no purpose if you don't start embodying this person. It's the new you. All these steps that I laid out have to become a lifestyle for you. You have to embody acceptance. You have to embody analyzation and constantly be analyzing your life, your beliefs, and your actions. You have to embody your detachment and truly be stoic about the outcome and about other people's opinions of you. And you have to embody constant improvement. And this, and only this, is how you stop becoming a fiend for attention. Congratulations, we've solved your drug addiction. You're not a junkie selling ass on the corner for some validation from people who you don't like, you don't know, and honestly, you don't care about. And trust me, they don't care about you at all either. And now you come to the full realization that they never really thought about you to begin with. It was all just your mind playing games on you because everybody has their own life and their own insecurities and their own challenges, and they're too focused on their life to be worrying constantly about judging you. So, as I always say, it was monsters under the bed. And once you're brave enough to go in the dark, reach under your bed, and even turn the lights on, you realize that they were never there to begin with. They were all figments of your imagination, and the only reason they felt real is because you made it so. So, if you want to learn more about how to implement this into your own life, as well as other topics that I cover on the channel, I actually created a free Discord called The Expansion. I don't know exactly what it's going to be for yet, but what I want to do initially is make a community of young men who are looking to become more self-aware, improve, whether that be financially, whether that be physically, emotionally, even spiritually, and just see where we go from there. This is the journey. If you look at my previous video, I stated what I want the mission of this movement to be. So if you resonate with that, look at the link below, click on the little Discord thingy, whatever the fuck it is, link, that's what it's called, and join. I'll see you inside.